So today I wanted to share with you the story of how I transformed my life, how I went from being an over-functioning visionary and an under-functioning dynamo, a dynamic person, into someone who functioned relatively well on both fronts. Well, certainly a lot better than I used to. So I'll start with what is a visionary. A visionary is a creative person. It's someone who can plan things, create things. They have an idea of what they want to do. When you're an over-functioning visionary, like I have been in the past and still am today at times, you have too many thoughts going on. You've got too much in your head, really, too many thoughts, ideas coming in all the time, and it gets muddled. You can't quite find that one path to follow. It can be hard. Procrastination can creep in. So that's an over-functioning visionary. And for myself, I certainly was in the past and still can be today. So I have to develop methods to help myself through that process to function at a good level. And the other aspect or personality trait that I want to mention today is being a dynamo or being a dynamic person. That's something that I've struggled with in the past. A dynamic person or a dynamo is someone who takes action. They're very good at taking action. They continually progress through actions. And you can be an over-functioning dynamo where you just do without taking the time to create your own vision or plan around that, what you actually maybe should be doing to get a better result. So you can be over-functioning, and that can, be a detriment to your life as well. And an under-functioning one is what I've been in the past, and even today I have to challenge myself to improve and around my limiting beliefs around it, and helping myself to take good actionable steps. And that's what I want to talk about, really. So I'll go back in my story, my personal story. So I had a family bereavement in my early 20s, and I questioned the whole meaning of life. So that everything came into question around society, inequalities, things like this. It really pulled at my heartstrings, but it made me question things and question realities. And what happened then is I kind of realized, well, what is the point doing certain things in life, and in kind of an Nietzsche level of philosophy, this kind of thing. So I went into my shadow. I did do my shadow work, but within that I got stuck in my comfort zone, and I decided to pursue more short-term goals rather than long-term goals. So I wasn't doing the work that I needed to do for my future self to progress in life. As we know it, you do need money in life, you do need an income. So I did provide myself an income, but I didn't really provide myself a pathway for my future. So that was where I lacked, and I got stuck in a rut in my comfort zone, and I needed to come out of it. Now, naturally, I did come out of it. I did take these actionable steps, and I'll talk about them, but I'll talk you through the process of what happened to my life. I wasn't lucky enough to have a coach who guided me. I wasn't lucky enough to have someone who shared with me these methods. So I found it myself, really, but now knowing these methods, it makes complete sense how I progressed, and also where I didn't progress, so I can see my failings and why they happened. So I'll share with you the story of how I kind of came out of it. I moved to Korea, South Korea, Seoul, and I really enjoyed being there. I was very positive there. I was kind of went there to English teaching as a foreign language, which, if anybody's interested in that, it's a really worthwhile cause, and feel free to message me for any advice you need on those issues, or, that kind of a thing. But yeah, so I went to do that, which was really worthwhile for me. It was what I wanted to do. And while there, I got a job doing business coaching at Samsung in Korea, which was really, really great for me, and I progressed very quickly at it. I have a natural talent for coaching and working with people to find their problems and what they need to progress and how they need to progress, like finding their solutions. So and I'd worked in finance and business all my life, so I had a grounding in it, and I developed it more as I was a coach. So that was really great for me to do that, and the experience working at Samsung in Gangnam, the Samsung building, Samsung Tower. Amazing experience. I was on the 36th floor, working with the vice presidents eventually. So I worked with several vice presidents of Samsung in Samsung Life. So that was great experience. And that came from my skills I had, kind of networking, putting myself out there, taking action. I wasn't scared that I wasn't a fully developed coach or a fully developed English teacher. I took the pathway I did, the certifications, and I put myself out there and started learning on the job, as it were, because where are we going to gain experience in life? Where are we going to gain these skills in life? We need to put ourselves out there to do it. Yes, we can learn. Yes, we can do degrees and things like this, whatever qualifications we might need. I'm not critiquing that. I'm just saying that don't be scared to take action in that. If you're studying a degree course, and sorry, just swapping hands on the camera, and you want to become a better coach, say you were doing a coaching degree or something like that, and you wanted, or teaching degree, obviously a part of that is practical work, isn't it? And putting yourself out there is a good way of doing that. You can always volunteer somewhere. You can look for networking opportunities, look for opportunities to further advance your skills. So that's what I've always done in life. I've always been a bit extroverted. I'm certainly a bit eccentric. So putting those together, that helped. And I can't help but notice what a beautiful environment we're in, and that's part of living a good life, living a positive life, having a positive environment. There's another great parts of my journey, and when I went to Seoul, it certainly was. So, Seoul. What happened after Seoul? So I got that grounding in coaching, and that was my introduction to it, and that was a really positive step in my life. It really helped me in my life, and that was the start. But I was no expert, and I was growing and learning. I think I was about 27, 28, and I was learning these skills. Now I'm 36, so just to let you know. Anyway, so fast forward, I still didn't have the dynamic mindset. I was able to set my alarm clock, get up, do the work. I did my lesson planning, my coaching planning. If we had any financial things we needed to plan for Samsung Life, we used to do that. But ultimately, I was kind of like scraping by. I wasn't that interested in the work after a while. It was interesting at first, but then when it became just kind of copying the same patterns and things, I started to not enjoy it. My autonomy was I had quite a lot of autonomy with it, which I loved. But some of it wasn't, and it was always around subjects that I didn't have control over. So even though I could plan it, the subjects, it was insurance basically, which I don't mind insurance, but it's not my passion in life. So you can imagine. My background's finance, like I told you. But I got out of finance because it wasn't my passion, and I did try that avenue. And again, fear of failure. Don't have a fear of failure. There's nothing wrong with deciding it wasn't for me. Move forward to a different pathway. That was really interesting. That my experiences in Korea and how I learned from it. And eventually I developed mindsets that would help me, actionable mindsets. And I'll come on to them with the next little story. How did I develop those actionable mindsets? Well, it's getting a bit louder, my apologies. I'll just walk past this little area. One story I'd like to share with you was starting my own business. So I became self-employed whilst in Korea. I developed my own coaching business and was coaching students and business students with the coaching that I had developed whilst being there. So that was great. And then after that, pandemic happened. I went back to the UK and got myself in kind of similar patterns of life that I wasn't happy with. I was okay, but could do better. You know what I mean? We all know that in life, don't we? When we could be doing a bit more, we're not really following our true calling, and that's what I slipped back into. So that happened, and Lose Yourself to Dance. You can hear the Pharrell song in the background. Beautiful view, by the way, and the sun's setting. on. The sun's well and truly set, but as my camera struggles to capture the light now, but that's okay. We just work with it. I hope you're enjoying the story. So I slipped back into my old ways in England, and my growth mindset, my growth kind of dwindled. And the pandemic I really suffered in the pandemic. The problems with shooting in public. But I enjoy it, and it's motivated me to talk about it, so I'm really glad I've done it today. And that's it, just go and do it. It doesn't matter if you're perfect. I'm not using the best camera, I don't have a microphone at the moment. Don't worry, a bit windy as I say that. Yeah, I am resolving those. I do have some microphones, but they're not with me at the moment. But yeah, cut a long story short, just get on with it, do it. Doesn't have to be perfect. You'll find your way, you'll improve. This video is not going to be my viral video, but it's a video that I'm proud of, and I hope I'm sharing some insights that help. So yeah, so I dwindled in the UK, but then I found my way out of it, and I kind of remembered what was true to me, helping other people, helping people to thrive, helping solve their challenges, and my own as well, because it's a two-way street. While you're developing them, you also develop yourself, and that was exactly what was happening in my life. A lovely sunset. So I went back to it. I started my own coaching company 2 years ago, and with a new offer. It was an employment coaching service, and we still have it today. It does very well. I employ coaches to do it. I will do it for certain students, but in general we have coaches who teach the students, and we have an amazing product which helps